Peace, family, peace. We back live. The last time our live stream was cut off, but your brother is definitely back for the conversation. Somebody has been messaging one of the brothers saying that they wanted to have the discussion. So, yeah, pull up. Share this video. Share this live stream. It's been a good day. Won some trades today. We in the green. We good. Shout out to the family. Shout out to YP, the movement, Brother Roosevelt. Shout out to the Art of War, Forever Driven. Shout out to Sister Belinda. Shout out to the collective. We in the building. Tap in. Ready to have this conversation. Ben is in here, just hit the request. Peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yes, sir. We here.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, I see he accepted.
Yeah.
So he's here.
Okay.
Praise be to Allah.
And just to give everybody a preface, I want to start off with giving the context of how we got here in the first place. So I received a message from the brother that you guys see on the screen below with me. And it was about, I believe he was calling the Nation of Islam, Nation of Kufr or something like that. And my brother Malcolm, went live the other day because during Ramadan, there was a lot of people that was coming after us in the Nation of Islam having things to say. So as I recall some things that he said, I wanted to just invite him on because
You cut off, Brother Ben.
Subhanallah. He ain't even alive no more.
He ain't what?
He not alive no more.
Brother Ben, you back?
yeah, Instagram be blocking me, man, from going live. So so when I join somebody else live, it kicks me off. I don't know why it does that. But anyways, to speed this thing up, Brother Malcolm, as you see at the top, the brother has invited anybody, who's has something to say about the nation. Let's dialogue about it. Let's talk about it. And the brother, he inboxed about how I guess we're not real Muslim and real Islam. So that's why we're here. So we can have the dialogue. However you want to move forward with it, brother. Brother Malcolm.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that. First, I'd like to open in the name of Allah, who appeared to us in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. I bear witness that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is his last and greatest messenger and exalted Christ. And also bear witness that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is divine warner, teacher in our midst. And I would like to greet the believers with the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. All praises is due to Allah. So we got the brother on. We got some people requesting. So should I bring other people up, Brother Ben, or should we just keep one up at a time?
Yeah, I would say let's just start with him. I mean, I'm pretty sure they all follow him. That's why they're here. So I mean,
Okay,
I'm pretty sure
cool.
he can represent them pretty good, probably.
Okay, cool. How you doing, my brother? Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum. Alhamdulillah, I'm cool. How you doing?
All right, I'm doing fine. Where are you from, beloved?
Philly.
Oh, you from Philly?
Yeah.
Okay, we got our Philly Muslim brothers in the house. All praises are due to Allah. So let's build, man. Let's build. So what's your issue with the Nation of Islam?
Uh basically y'all accept that Wallace Fard came in, or he's Allah in human form. But if you accept that, then what legs do you have to stand on when you come against the Christians who say that Jesus, the Prophet Isa, alayhi salam, is the same thing? You have no leg to stand on when you concede that Allah can enter the creation, firstly. And secondly, saying that there's any prophet after the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when in Sahih Hadith, in the verified Hadith, the authentic books, we see that he said that there's no prophet after him, no Nabi after him. So essentially, anybody who claims that there's a prophet after the Prophet Muhammad, they cannot be a Muslim, because that's kufr, that's disbelief in the Prophet's word.
Were you done?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, all right, let's deal with the Bible, right? Because I'm pretty well versed in the Bible as well as the Quran. So, are you familiar with the verse that Jesus spoke in the Bible where he said, "Men shall worship me in vain, teaching as commandments of men"?
Yeah, but then at the same time, we also know that the Bible's corrupted, so you can't
But
really
but wait,
trust what's inside.
but before we get to the corruption of the Bible, I just want to know: are you familiar with that verse?
Specifically, no, but I know that he talks about there will be like many false teachers.
Okay, yeah, I think that might be related to something else, right? Because I'm trying to get to a point. Are you familiar where Jesus said, worship me not, but worship the Father, for I have come from the Father"?
Yeah.
Right? So we know based on the scriptures that there are many passages directly coming from Jesus saying himself that he's not the creator, he's not the most high. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, for sure.
Right. Okay, so we would also agree with that, right? So we also believe that Isa was a prophet of 2,000 years ago, right?
Mm.
But we also understand that he is misunderstood into believing that he is the long awaited Messiah to come, right? But he even said that he was a man who was born out of due season. Jesus even said that there will be one coming after me called the Comforter, so it's expedient that I go away, for the Comforter will not come unto you, right? So Jesus is telling us directly that he's not the one who will be coming 2,000 years ago, right? So and we agree with Jesus, right? So
Mm.
to kind of compare us with our Christian brothers and sisters, right? It's not all the way accurate, but I can understand where the misunderstanding could come from, because they're not all the way wrong. They just got the wrong man during the wrong time, because when Christ comes to destroy all the wicked, right? So 2,000 years ago, the man 2,000 years ago didn't do that, right? Christ does that. He destroys the wicked in the last day. Now let's deal with your second point, right? Now you mentioned in the hadith, right?
Mm.
Uh, because you all, you disagree with Master Fard. Well, you actually made 2 points in your second point. You said that there was no prophet that would come after Prophet Muhammad. And you also stated that not only that's in the hadith, but you also stated that you all have an issue with Master Fard Muhammad being Allah God. Now, one, let's deal with this. The first point. There's nowhere in our literature in the Nation of Islam that we say or we believe that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is a prophet. Would you agree with that? If you ever seen any of us speaking, have you ever heard any of us say that the Nation of Islam and the honorable Elijah Muhammad is a prophet?
I understand that y'all don't say that, but y'all definitely do treat Fard Muhammad as a
But we
prophet
talking about
figure.
Elijah right now. Not
Well, Elijah, no, I haven't seen anything that explicitly from the Nation of Islam literature that explicitly calls him a prophet. But I
okay.
mean, y'all say that
hmm
he's divine too. So, like, regardless, a man cannot ever be divine. Any
Why not?
creation, because we're the
Why
creation. We're
not?
not the creator. The creator is only divine by himself.
Okay. Okay. Now you said that man can never be divine, right?
Mhm.
Now that is an interesting point, because did not Allah say in the Quran that the sun and moon bow down to man? Did not Allah tell the angels to bow down to Adam in the Quran?
Bowing down
Yes or no?
to Adam, yes, they did, but there's a difference. The Sharia at that time, the law was different. So when Jacob said, I'm pretty sure it's either Jacob or Joseph, I forget, it's slipping my mind right now. When one of them said that the sun and the moon and that the 11 stars were bowing down to them, it wasn't as in like bowing down out of worship. It was bowing down out of respect because that was allowed at the time. So it's not worship. And what was the
Yeah.
other instance of bowing that you said?
No. But real quick, yeah, I'm gonna get to that point, right? Because you
Hey,
mentioned.
but real quick,
Uh,
what does obeisance mean?
What does what?
Obeisance. What does that mean?
You'd have to tell me the definition. I don't know.
Okay, let me get it out the dictionary. Uh,
so you want me to wait, or what you want me to do?
um, so hold on. Uh, a a movement of the body made in token of respect or submission because they was told to make obeisance to Adam. So in the Quran, from how you all are taught, what does it mean when one is to be made? When they are to be make obeisance to Adam, what does that mean? Based on how y'all are taught and like how you interpret it.
I mean, firstly, right, you're going off of the English when the Quran is Arabic. You're going off of one of many translations. I'm aware that y'all use the specific Muhammad Ali translation, the translation that the Ahmadi cult uses as well. Um, so that's just one translation out of many. It doesn't say that in my Quran. I have it right here. If you could give me the page, the verse number, and the chapter number, I
Surah
could read you what mine
7:11.
says. 711. All right, give me 1 second. All right. So my Quran says, "We created you, we gave you shape, and then we said to the angels, bow down before Adam, and they did, but not Iblis. He was not one of those who bowed down." And that's what the entire verse says. And honestly, us sitting here speaking on the English translation isn't going to do really anything. We would need like a scholar of Arabic to really, or we could look at the tafsir too.
Yeah,
I have tafsir. I don't have it with me though.
but but
We would
but
need to
here
look
but
at
here but here's
reliable
the thing
tafsir.
though. Here's the thing, because we get into the intellectual gymnastics, right? On the air. Do you speak Arabic?
Nah, but I was a student for a
Okay.
year, so
Okay,
loosely.
so let's not try to pull the Arabic card, because
It's not a
even
card when
but
Allah said that He revealed the Quran in
but
Arabic.
but but listen, we have Arabic speakers in the nation, and we know that there are a lot of brothers and sisters who speak Arabic outside of the nation, but they think that we don't speak the Arabic, or we understand the Arabic, or we read the Arabic. So they use that talking point to try to discount what we're trying to say.
No.
Right? So we all know in the Quran that Allah told the angels to make prostration to Adam,
Hmm.
right? It wasn't a vision like Joseph. You mentioned Joseph earlier. That was in the vision. But we talking about the literal, where Allah tells the angels to make sajda to Adam. So we all know that Allah does not contradict himself. So why would Allah, who says the Allah from the Old Testament all the way from the Allah to the Holy Quran, who says that He is the jealous God? He even questioned Jesus and Mary in the Quran, asking them that they tell the people to worship them. So we already know what type of God Allah is. So why would Allah contradict himself and tell the angels to make prostration to Adam, who is his creation? So it has to be something to Adam for Allah to call Adam his vicegerent or his Khalifa on earth, in order to get his angels to bow down to Adam. Because if the angels were to bow down to anybody, anything else, then that will be considered shirk, right? But in this act alone, what is it about Adam, for that it was permissible for the angels to bow down to Adam?
All right, so in Islam, you know that we have abrogation. So it's not necessarily a contradiction if Allah allowed something at one point and then decided to deem that thing haram or impermissible at another point. There's no, like, what's it called? Let
So
me
we
think of an
doing this
example.
right now.
Abrogation exists in Islam. Like, there's no debate among any major scholars at all. Abrogation exists in Islam.
Okay,
And
so
also
let me
earlier,
ask you this. Let me ask you this then, right?
mhm,
So, okay, so in one sense, it's not considered shirk. But in another sense, when the Nation of Islam say that we believe that Allah came in the person of Master for Muhammad, is considered shirk. So why the double standard?
it's not a double standard. Like I said, abrogation means to allow one thing. Well, not necessarily allow, but just to change something. So, like I said earlier, the bowing that was present when the angels did sajda to Adam, that wasn't a bow out of worship. It was of respect to show his, what's the word I'm looking for? His, like, his standing, I guess. And yeah, basically it wasn't they don't pray to Adam. They didn't think that he was the creator of the heavens of the earth or nothing like that. Allah commanded them to bow down out of a sign of respect. And the reason Iblis didn't bow down is because he was arrogant. He didn't say, "Oh, I don't want to worship him." He said, "I'm better than him. You made him out of clay and you made me out of fire." So with that, I would just say it wasn't out of worship, firstly. And secondly, I didn't say that just because we don't speak Arabic that we shouldn't go to that or to get somebody who speaks Arabic. The Quran was revealed in the Fusha dialect, so people go to school for years upon years and major in this dialect of the modern standard Arabic. So I didn't say we just need to get somebody who, just speaks Arabic, any person that speaks Arabic. No, I specifically said a scholar of Arabic to read and understand these words in the Arabic because the Arabic lexicon got, what is it, like 12 million words, and English is about 140,000 or something like that. So, yeah, like, I'm not saying that just because somebody speaks Arabic, all of a sudden they're going to know. And that's not a card for me to pull. Allah said that He revealed the Quran in the Arabic language. So, of course, the Arabic language is going to have the purest of the meanings when it comes to the Quran. And the person who dedicates their life to studying Arabic is going to understand that much better than a person reading a translation. And
So,
then
mhm,
I
uh-huh.
also didn't say that we only need to rely on a scholar of Arabic. I said we could go to the tafsir as well. If I was at my mother's house, I have my tafsir of Ibn Kathir over there, but I'm not there right now, so I couldn't pull it up. But I would be able
So,
to pull up this
but,
verse.
but, but the point is, so you disagree with the terms prostration or obeisance. Is that what you're saying?
I don't disagree with those terms because, as the brother said, obeisance also can mean out of respect. It doesn't necessarily mean worship.
Okay, so the Quran uses the words obeisance and prostration, but you just have a different perspective,
Brother,
right?
the Quran, like, you're using an English translation. My translation doesn't have those words, and that's why I'm saying you're trying to go off this English
Okay, but what
translation
does
when it's one of
yours
many.
say?
I agree.
Well,
Agree.
Because see now,
at the end of the day, you got it's both the same thing. Obeisance means to bow. Like even though yours say bow versus obeisance, that's what obeisance means.
and to get cut straight to the truth,
Mhm.
if you bow down to anybody, it's considered shirk in Islam.
Now it
You're not.
is.
You're not exactly. So we can't dance around it as if it don't mean what it means.
But do you not understand that abrogation is a principle in Islam? To
But
deny abrogation is like to deny one of the base
but
functions
but
of
but you
Islam.
have to but what you have to do is qualify your abrogation. You can't just abrogate it just for the sake of abrogating it.
So let me ask you this, brother. Are you saying that at that time Allah allowed men to be worshipped? Is that what you're saying?
it wasn't worship though. That's my whole thing. Like the word obeisance, it does not solely mean worship,
So
as you
okay,
said
I
when you
got
were
you.
reading
I got you. So
the
you're saying at that time Allah allowed men to be bowed to, but now men can't be bowed to. Is that what you're saying?
100%. Yeah.
Okay. So why did Allah allow a man to be bowed to at that time? Like, what's the context of why it changed?
First of all, a man was never allowed to be bowed to out of worship.
No, no,
If
no.
a person
I
bowed
didn't say
to another
worship.
man, yeah, but I'm just saying there's a difference between a person bowing down out of respect, like in many African cultures, or a person bowing down to in order to actually like legitimately worship a person. There's a huge difference. And in Islam, Allah allowed it was permissible for people to bow out of respect. And then it was deemed impermissible
So
after.
why
We don't
can't we
have
bow to why can't we bow to a person out of respect? How is that worship? Because you bow to a person out of respect. How's that worship?
I don't have the answer for you. Most likely because I guarantee that there is an answer. I just don't have it. Most likely because of the salat that we were gifted with, involving the prostration. And then from that point on, probably the prophet may have said that we're not supposed to prostrate to any other than Allah.
Mm,
So you done with your questions?
yeah. Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. So let me ask you this. So would you disagree that Adam was created in the form of Allah?
100%. Yeah, I would disagree with that. And another a thing that I found interesting about the Nation of Islam,
But
y'all use a lot of the Bible.
no, we ain't dealing with the Bible right now. We gonna deal with the Quran. But so you disagree that Adam was created in the form of Allah?
In the form of Allah. Yes, I disagree with
Okay.
that.
All right. So let me read some stuff for you right quick. This
Mhm.
is out of the Truth of God by our brother Dr. Wesley Muhammad on page 90, section the form of God. Right. He reads, Al-Bukhari in Muslim report a hadith from the Prophet on the authority of the companion of Al-Mughira B. Shuba. And he quotes, no shocks is more jealous than Allah. No shocks is more pleased to grant pardon than he. No shocks loves praiseworthy conduct more than he. End quote. Allah is thus a shocks. Do you know what a shocks is?
No.
Okay. The term shocks is usually translated as a corporeal person. And from the Arabic, it connotes the bodily or the corporeal form or figure or substance of a man or something possessing height and visibility. Ibn Manzur informs us in his Lisan al-Arab admits as well as the term shocks implies the existence of a body composed of parts. For one term something a shocks because it possesses corporeality and height. God, we are thus informed, is a person with a physical body. As a shocks, the God of the Sunnah has a visible form and it is anthropomorphic. According to a Sahih report, Adam's form is the likeness of this divine form. It says, God created Adam according to his form, his size being of 60 cubits. Then, once he created him, he said to him, go greet this group of angels seated over there and listen well in listen well in what way they will respond to you, because such will be in what follows your way of greeting, yours and your descendants. Adam went and said to them, Assalamu alaikum. They answered him, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatu illah. They had thus added rahmatu illah. All those who will enter into paradise will have the same form as Adam. Their size, theirs also will be 60 cubits. But here below, after Adam, the size of creatures have up to this day not ceased to diminish. One second, I'm almost done. Do not make your face ugly, because the son of Adam was created according to the form of Al Rahman. This is uh in the Sunnah. It says, "Do not make your face ugly, because the son of Adam, according to the was created according to the form of Al Rahman. Al Rahman is Allah, the Beneficent. It says, God thus has a form similar to that of Adam's, though different in some respects. While the transcendentalists, the people who believe that Allah doesn't have a form, he doesn't have a body, the transcendentalists, use various devices to interpret the form away from God. The Sunni doctors were bitterly opposed to such tricks. Ibn Hanbal says in his Aqidah, Adam was created in the image of the merciful, as comes in a report from the messenger of God transmitted by Ibn Umar. He said in another creed reported by Ibn Abi Yala, none of this is the Bible. He said in another creed reported by Ibn Abi Yala, anyone who does not say that God created Adam in the form of the merciful is a Jamite, or a heretic, or a disbeliever. Abu Muhammad Qutayba declared as well, God possesses an actual form, though it is not like other forms, and he fashioned Adam after it. The reason, therefore, the Quran can say that Adam was made in the best make, Asani Takwim, is because he was made according to the form of God himself. This black Adam looks like God, as we saw below. So if that's the case, if this is in the Sunnah, this ain't coming from Nation of Islam people, this ain't coming from the Bible. If this is in the Sunnah, then maybe that could be the reason why the angels made sajda, or made prostration, to black Adam.
All right. So, are you familiar with Ibn Taymiyyah?
Yes.
All right. So, in response to this hadith, Ibn Taymiyyah said that the word surah in the Arabic, the word surah, which translates to the image, in this hadith is like all the other names and attributes narrated in the text, where the words used may also be applied to created beings in a limited manner. When these words are applied to Allah, they carry a unique meaning, such as Al-Alim, the all-knowing, or Al-Qadir, the all-powerful, Ar-Rahim, most merciful, Al-Sami', the all-hearing, and so on and so forth, and such as his creating with his hands, rising above the throne, etc. So we do know that Allah has hands. You know, Allah does have these. I'm hesitant to call them parts because I'm just a layman, so I'm not really that well versed in like the specifics of Akida and all that, and I don't want to misspeak. Any misspeakings are just from Shaitan, and anything good that comes from me is from Allah. Um, but then Ibn Taymiyyah continues to say, and he said, there was no dispute among the Salaf of the first three generations, which the Prophet said were the best and most rightly guided generations, were the first three, that the pronoun in the hadith refers to Allah, and it is narrated through the many isnads from many of the Sahaba, so it's a Sahih hadith. Um, the contexts all indicate that, but when ignorance became widespread, a group began to say that the pronoun refers to something other than Allah, and this was transmitted from a group of scholars who are known to have knowledge and follow the Sunnah, such as Abu Thawr, Ibn Khuzaymah, and so on and so forth. But essentially, back to the first quote from Ibn Taymiyyah, when it says that Adam was created in the image of Allah. When it says created in the image, it means like his likeness, not his physical likeness, but the likeness of his attributes. That's
Oh,
according to Ibn Taymiyyah and other
okay,
scholars.
so again, it goes back to the word shocks. I just gave the definition. The shocks represents a physical person, right? There's also in the Quran where, well, not in the Quran, but in the Sunnah, where Allah is referred to as a young man. So let me pull that up.
Yeah, could you also include the reference number to these hadiths too?
Yes, absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Okay, so now before I get to that, because I'm getting ready to pull it up.
Mm.
So now, are we in agreement that Allah has a physical form? Since you said that He has hands, you just said it on the live
I mean,
stream. He has hands. So if He
course,
has
of course,
hands,
of course, he's somehow physical, but it's in a way that befits his majesty. We don't know. It's not physical how we assume something's physical. Of course, it would have to be there because he's above the throne, but it's all in a way that befits his majesty. It's not something that we can behold or just assume.
okay. So again, you really dancing around what I'm asking you because you admitted to Him having hands, and I'm looking at verses right now. In 55:26, it says He has a face. 20:39 and 11:37, it says He has eyes. In 38:75, He has two hands. 68:42, He has legs. 39:56, He has a side. 328, he has a soul. 5116, he has a soul. Spirit 6612, he has a spirit, right? So I mean, these are all characteristic and attributes of men, not a ghost, not a spirit.
I wouldn't say exclusively to men because I mean a watch has a face, a clock has hands in their own specific way, and we would never think that somebody says a clock has hands. We would never
But
think that it
Adam
has
wasn't but
legitimate
Adam
hands.
wasn't created after a clock. It said
Hmm.
Adam was created after Allah
Yeah, and his image, as in the
and his
attributes of Allah,
likeness.
such as his image of such as the attributes of Allah, like
But
Ar-Rahman.
what I'm saying is, and this is what my Orthodox family is tripping themselves up because how can you produce nothing from nothing? If I get a woman pregnant, a child is gonna come out. It's gonna have a face, it's gonna have hands, it's gonna have feet. So how can Allah create man in his image and his likeness, but an image and likeness come out, but Allah don't have an image and likeness?
His image and his likeness means the attributes that Allah already possessed. But you said, how can you make something from nothing when we're talking about Allah? So are you conceding that Allah cannot make something out of nothing?
Wait, say it again. You say,
When
can Allah make something out of nothing?
are you saying that Allah cannot make something out of
What
nothing?
I'm saying is a contradiction. What I'm saying is something came from something.
Yeah, the things
Even
came from
Allah came from
Allah.
something.
Stuff.
Even Allah came from something.
So who's the creator of everything that we
He is.
know?
He self-created.
He's self-created, but that would
Yes.
necessitate that he was not there to create himself.
No, he
Allah
was
is
there.
eternal,
He was there. He was always present.
but he created himself.
Yes. So
All right,
so
so what did he create
so if
when he created
Allah
himself?
think about what you asking me, because you asked me, could Allah create nothing out of something? So even you don't believe that Allah could create nothing out of. I mean, even you would agree that Allah can create nothing out of something. So if He can create nothing out of something, how is it impossible for Him to create Himself?
Is it necessarily nothing when he's the only thing that exists and
No, no,
he's
no. You
eternal, he's never not
misunderstand.
existed?
No. You misunderstanding what I'm saying. How if you agree that Allah can create nothing out of something, I mean create something out of nothing, then how is it impossible for Him to create Himself?
All right, I think you understood what I was saying in response to that. Okay, I hear what you're saying, but what I'm saying is you're saying that how would it be impossible for Allah to create himself? But when you say that he created nothing out of something, when I say nothing, it's never really nothing because Allah is still there. So he's not really like to us. It's nothing. It's the absence of everything. But Allah is still there in the way that befits His majesty. And then yeah, some questions like us as humans, we're never going to be able to understand the majesty of how Allah willed this creation. But Allah told us that He just said kun fayakun. So when I say that Allah created this universe out of nothing, yes, to us it's nothing. But to Allah, He willed it in. He created out of His will, basically.
Okay,
Call me shower
so
cat.
so if Allah willed the universe in the creation,
Mhm.
is not the universe a part of Himself?
No,
Why not? Because if Allah was in the beginning and there was nothing but darkness, and then Allah said, "Let there be light," then how isn't the universe a part of Him?
he could will into an external creation. It's whatever He chooses to do.
Okay, so if He's the Creator, how cannot His creation be a part of Him?
I mean, why would okay, let me show you. I I created this painting. I made it myself.
Uh huh.
Is this painting a part of me? No.
Yeah, it
This is
is.
this is not a part
It's
of me.
your creation.
But it's not a
It's
part of me.
attached to you.
No.
Yes.
Not physically, not spiritually. It's not attached to me. It's an inanimate object.
No, 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 no. It came out of your mind.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that it's attached
You
to me.
you you know who only has the power to do that? Kun fire kun. You can make what's hidden manifest. Allah.
This had parts though. I didn't
No, no,
make this
no,
out of thin air.
no, no. You missing it. You missing the point. There was that one point that thing didn't exist. It only existed in your mind.
But the
But
parts
you
were
get,
always there for
but
me to
but
put
you
them
gave it,
together.
but you made it manifest and you gave it physical form.
With the parts that were already there
But
that I just
exactly,
put
but the
together.
same thing. Allah did created the universe the same way. In the universe, it's not that the universe was empty. In the universe, there was already a preanimate substance there. The substance was already there. So Allah used what was around Him to create the universe. Same thing with you. You took what you had in your mind that was hidden and you made it manifest. The only thing that has power to do that is Allah.
Let me ask you a question, brother, because it seems I think if we get to the root of this, what is not, and listen to my question, what is Allah to you? And when I say that, I know He's the best knower, He's the creator, I know that, but what is Allah? And when I say that, like if you was to ask me what is Brother Malcolm, I would say he is a human being. So if I ask you what is Allah, what's your question? I mean, what's your answer?
Allah is the one. He's the creator of the heavens and the universe. He's the self-standing. He's the self-sustaining, the eternal. And there's no likeness unto Him in everything that exists.
So that's not what I mean. So yes, He's the creator. Like for example, whoever created Ford or made Ford, I could say, hey, who is this guy? He's the maker. He's the maker, the owner of blah blah blah. But if I ask you, what is he like? What is he literally? I would say he's a human. So I guess what I'm asking is Allah a human? Is he a spirit? Is he energy? Is he just like a wind? If I was to ask you, what is Allah? What will be your answer?
All right. Usually you can't answer a question with a question, but I feel like this is a time where I could. So I'm gonna flip this back on you to show you that this question is a fallacy. What is the intellect? You have to tell me using a physical form. What is intellect?
Intellect is, I mean, if I was to give my understanding of it, intellect is the intelligence of the mind, the
But in a physical form now.
in a physical form.
Yeah, what is intellect? Because you're asking me what is Allah when we don't believe that Allah is a part of this physical world. So
Okay,
what
so
is
so is it
intellect?
so is Allah a spirit then?
I'm hesitant to answer that because I'm not sure. I need to read more books. I'm just a layman, so
So
I wouldn't necessarily know.
And I guess by definition, to give, I guess, the definition of intellect, the power of knowing as distinguished from the power to feel and to will, the capacity for knowledge. It also says the capacity for rational or intelligent thought, especially when highly developed.
But how can you observe that in the physical world?
Uh, well, intellect, you can't necessarily, I mean, you can, actually, I could observe somebody who has intellect. I could tell intellect by how they speak
You
or
could observe it
what they're
in
saying.
like you could observe somebody like with intellect, but you can't observe their intellect itself. Like you'd observe them using it, but it itself, like the intellect itself, you would not be able to physically see a person's intellect or physically observe a person's intellect.
Uh, so what you would, how, okay, is intellect a, would you describe it like a noun? Would you consider that like a noun?
I'm trying to say it's like I'm using it as a noun right now, but it could also be like, I guess, sort of an, not really in the word intellect, but like intellectual would be like an adjective or a noun. But yeah, how I'm using intellect, it would be a noun, wouldn't it? Even in a dictionary, intellect is a noun.
Yeah. So would you compare Allah with like with something like that? Like it's kind of like saying, what does, how would you explain, or uh what is arrogant? Explain, like, what is arrogant? It's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of, it's like you're explaining Allah as you would describe like something like that. I don't know if that's how I would explain Allah. Are you saying Allah is like intellect, or like is that the comparison that you would make um with Allah, the creator? Like you would look at Allah as something that you can't explain like intellect, like you can't describe like intellect.
In this world, yes, maybe like in Jannah, and that's another thing that I wanted to ask about, but I'll hold on to that. In Jannah, maybe we like, I know that it says that we'll see Allah's face in Jannah. So maybe just in this world right now, yes, Allah is like, um his true pure form is unknown to man right now. Yes, definitely.
Okay, so like that, like you said, his true form, right?
Hmm.
So like I'm looking at this other definition of intellect. It means the ability to think in a logical way. So like that's more of like an ability. This isn't like a form. Like I just don't think the comparison, it's just not clicking for me. So when you say form, you do believe Allah has a form. You just don't know what form. Is that what you're saying? Because you
I
just
would
said
say he
his
has to
form.
have something because he's stated as being he's what's it called? He's over the throne. So
Okay.
he has to do something, but that doesn't mean that he's made up of anything else.
So when you
Because he's
say,
Allah, like Allah is,
and when you say,
we're never going to be able to understand Allah.
over, you mean physically?
Yeah. It says that
Okay.
he
And so if it
established himself over the throne.
over the throne, and how and based on how you're taught, what is the throne?
Whatever he wished for it to be, something that the ayatul, what's it called, the kursi, he established it in a way that befits his majesty, but not like us though. Like I feel like a big thing with the Nation of Islam is that y'all are focused on like anthropomorphizing Allah to make it easy to understand.
But Allah is doing that himself. It ain't us. It's in the Quran.
I wouldn't say that.
Oh, well, we gonna deal with it. It's in the book.
All right,
I'm
I
gonna
still wouldn't
deal
say
with it
that.
right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna deal with it right now, brother Ben. You mind?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
All right. So somebody, and we talking about the God, Surah Al Ikhlas. We kind
Hmm.
of in that realm, God has no creator, he has no physical form. I even seen somebody in the comments, the brother named Oracle's Own. He said, "Why are y'all so hell bent on making Allah seem like a black man?" Well, let's read from our book, The Truth of God. We only deal with nothing but scholarship. I'm going to read from this book, Surah Al-Ikhlas and the Black God. That's the name of this chapter, page 160. I'm going to read the Surah 112. One of the most oft repeated verses of the Quran is Al-Ikhlas, the unity. Say, He Allah is one, Allah is Samad, Allah is As-Samad. He begets not, nor is he begotten, and none is equal to him. Surah 112 is reckoned the single most important chapter in the Quran as it defines Islam's attitude toward Allah. It is no question Al-Ikhlas, along with Al-Shura 42:11, which is cited most often as proof of the completely non-anthropomorphic nature of God. That's your position. On the contrary, it is Al-Ikhlas where we find the strongest support for an anthropomorphic, at least a corporeal embodied Allah. In this verse, the God of the Quran is also connected with the ancient black God. In verse 2, God is referred to as As-Samad. The word is the hapax lego meganon of the Quran, meaning that this word is one of a kind. They only use it once in the Quran. That's what that means. Even today, there is no agreement as to what the word means. It is often translated as eternal or he to whom all depend. But this is not the lexical meaning of the word. By the time of Al-Tabari, the Orthodox reading equated samad with musmat, solid, of even composition, massive, compact, or not hollow, meaning without a stomach cavity. Al-Ashari, in his Makalat al-Islamiyyin, observed, and he quote, many people say, he, God, is solid, interpreting the word of God, samad, to mean solid. For example, not hollow. The greatest of the Sahaba and the Tabi'un attached this meaning to the word. Ibn Abbas, Al-Hassan, Sa'id B. Jubair, Mujahid, Adak, Sa'id, B. Al-Musaib, and Ikrimah. The great men of the Salaf understood this word to mean that God is a massive, solid being, not hollow, without a stomach cavity. God is thus a physical being. Now watch this. But this is not all. The Arabs used As-Samad in pre-Islamic times to designate their tribal chief in the high god who was thought to resemble this human tribal chief. Most importantly, the pre-Islamic high god was called Allah. So before Prophet Muhammad and the advent of Islam, the tribal or the high god, the main god of their pantheon, his name was Allah. The grammarian Abu Ubaidah in his Majaz al-Quran 2:316 noted, As-Samad is he towards who directs himself, and no one is above him. This is how the Arabs called their nobles. This clearly demonstrates that As-Samad does not imply a non-anthropomorphic deity, for the Arabs commonly use the term for both God and men. And it is in the pre-Islamic sense that the word appears in the Quran, and Yuri Rubin's extensive study of the verse has shown, right? So we have different sources saying that he was an anthropomorphic being, but check this out. I gotta read this because now somebody said that we are hell bent on making him a black God, making God black, right? But this is what I'm gonna show you what all this stuff is saying on its own. So in verse 3, it describes God as one who begets not and is himself unbegotten. This, of course, on the surface appears unmistakable in its rejection of anthropomorphism. Again, analyzing it in its historical context proves otherwise. 400 Leonite and Datanite inscriptions dating back to the 5th century BC were found in the area of Al-Ula in northern Arabia. And these inscriptions are pre-Islamic invocations to Allah. One of the names applied to the pre-Islamic Allah, which distinguished him from the other deities acknowledged and worshipped by the idolatrous Arabs, was Abtar, which means he had no offspring. O Allah, God without offspring, greetings. O Allah, God without offspring, knower of men. F.V. Winnett in his article, Allah before Islam observes. Looking back over the text given above, we find nothing distinctive in the appeals addressed to Allah, but there is one epithet applied to Allah which is not applied to any other god in North Arabic inscriptions, that is Aptar, without offspring. It evidently denotes a quality that was regarded as peculiar to Allah alone, and thus forms our chief key to the Allah theology of the pre-Islamic Arabs. Aptar denoted the quality of not producing offspring. Julian Baldick has shown that the black god of ancient South Arabia was characterized by this abnormal sexual behavior. For example, the refusal to beget offspring. This clearly demonstrates that the attributing to a god such a refusal need not indicate non-anthropomorphic nature. The two descriptions of Allah found in Al-Ikhlas, God as As-Samad and as one who begets not, therefore connects the God of the Quran with the God of pre-Islamic Arabia, the proto-Semitic black god called Sal, who was in human form and black, who was in human form and black. Okay, so according to, I think Brother Ben fell off. So according to the South Arabian God who Allah is connected to, had a human form and who was black.
All right. Can you show me any proof that as-samad means to have a body?
I
Any
just
like dictionary?
I just named off several Sahabas that said it, and also read
None of those Sahaba said that Allah had a body, or as-samad means that Allah has a body. And
okay.
you
So
were, if
let me read it
anything,
again for you.
you were more appealing
Let,
to
let,
the
let me
pagan
read
Arabs.
it again for you. Al-Ashari. So we know that many of you are Asharites. Not all of you, but a lot of you take on his creed, right? Al-Ashari, in his Makalat al-Islamin, observes, many people say God is solid, interpreting the word as samad to mean solid, not hollow. Here we go.
That's Al-
The greatest of
that's
the
Ashari word.
hold on. The greatest of the Sahaba in the Tabi'un attached this meaning to the word. Here's some names: Ibn Abbas, Al Hassan, Sa'id B. Jubair, Mujahid ad-Dahak, Sa'id B. Al Musayyib, Ikrima. The great men of the Salaf understood this word to mean that God is a massive, solid being, not hollow. More specifically, without a stomach cavity. Do I got to name anybody else?
How does that say that he has a physical body like a man now?
Again,
Like, okay, he's physical. That's what it's saying,
I
but
don't
they're not
think you. I
affirming
don't
that
think
he
you was
has a
listening to
human
the
body.
reading. Say it again.
They're not affirming that. They're not. I don't see that as affirming that he has a human body
But
or a
how?
body like a human.
But we've okay. So we've already dealt with Adam was created after the form of Allah. So what other form does he? What other? You tell me. What other form does Allah have? If Allah has hands, eyes, a face, legs, a side, then what? You have this. The burden of proof is on you to prove that he's not a body.
I would definitely say that. I would definitely say the burden on proof. The burden of proof is on you to prove that he has a human body, because we know in this physical world of many eyes, many arms, many hands that are not hands, eyes, arms that we have, And everything that Allah has, He has it in a way that befits His Majesty,
Yeah, but
as
you
well as
keep contradicting yourself.
how.
Because because if that was the case, then Allah would have created Adam in the form of a clock. He would have made Adam in the form of a dog. He would have made Adam in the form of giraffe. But that's not what we are taught. We are taught that Allah created man in His form and His likeness. So if
Yeah,
we got a
none of
form,
those
so
things
if we
have
got a
any of
form
His
and
attributes.
likeness, huh?
None of those things have any of His attributes, though. None of the things I mentioned or you mentioned have any of His attributes.
What do you mean? We even wear the very name of Allah. What are you talking about? We wear the
Arm,
attributes.
leg, arm, head. Y'all forgot
I'm
about
not.
that.
I said nothing about arm, leg, arm, head. I didn't even mention arm, leg, or hand,
I've heard that from
arm,
some
head.
NOI people before,
But
but
I'm saying,
if that's
but that didn't come out of my mouth just
that's
now.
you don't agree with that?
Don't agree with what?
Arm, leg, arm, head.
I don't use that. I follow the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I don't father Allah.
All right,
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is my teacher. We don't use that type of language.
okay, all right.
You know,
Back to
respectfully to my 5% brothers, but we don't use that type of language.
I got you. But back to you saying I was contradicting myself. I don't see how me saying that Adam was made in the image of Allah, as in not his physical image, but the attributes of Allah, such as the mercy and other attributes. I don't understand how, I don't see the contradiction. I don't see how that couldn't be true.
There is a contradiction because even the angels, according to certain sources, mistook Adam for Allah and was even afraid and scared because they thought Adam was Allah, according to certain sources.
What sources are these? I haven't heard of them.
Okay, I'll find it for you. Just give me 1 second. Let me pull it up.
All right.
So okay, and before I get to that, so you disagree with 4211? Well, I'm pretty sure you agree with 4211, correct?
In the Quran, if anything's in the Quran, of course I agree with whatever's in the Quran.
So you are you saying that Allah doesn't have a likeness?
Definitely, yeah. A physical likeness, no, he does not.
Now, why is that?
Because Surah Ikhlas says that nothing in the whole creation is likened upon to him.
Right, but I just showed you that in Surah Ikhlas, he does have a anthropomorphic form.
Even if he does, I'll just grant that to you for the sake of it. It can't be likened to anything in the creation. You saying that as-samad means a physical
But we
thing
get
with
that. We understand. We understand that Allah. Yeah, we understand. I mean to cut you off. We understand that Allah is above His creation. But what we are the understanding that we trying to come to a consensus that he's not a spook God. He's not he's everything, but he's nothing. Right? So that's what I'm trying to get with you. You understand? Because a lot of them are saying that Allah don't have an image or likeness. So I'm trying to figure out, is that what you're standing on?
100%. Yeah, he doesn't have a physical image or a physical likeness.
Okay. All right. Well, let's deal with it. So let's go to Surah 42:11.
Hmm.
Laysa kamithlihi shay.
And nothing is, yeah, okay, yeah.
There's nothing like him,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Now, hold on 1 second. Seems like I'm missing slides. Okay. So let me show you my screen. So you translated as what again?
I translate what,
Yes.
42:11? There's nothing like there's nothing. alike to him. I gotta look at it in front of me. Hold on.
There's nothing like him.
Uh, yeah, but essentially, yeah.
Okay. So now you mentioned the Arabic earlier. Now, are you aware that that's not how that surah and ayat translates? You aware of that?
Yeah, but you gotta keep in mind, like, there's so many different translations of the Quran. But in
But
general,
what's the general consensus?
it says, uh, not in the nothing in the universe is like him.
Right. Now, but are you aware that that's not how that translates?
Why is that?
Okay, I'll explain why. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
42:11. Laysa kamithli he shay. There is nothing like him. That's the general consensus. But although that's not how you translate that, we have the breakdown of the translation right here. Ka is a comparative particle, like, right? And then you have mithil. Mithil means likeness, image, or form. So a lot of the Orthodox brothers and sisters try to say that he has no image, he has no form. There's nothing like his likeness. So when you break it down, it don't say that it don't say this. Laysa kamithli he say there is nothing like him. When you break it down properly in the Arabic, it says there is nothing like his likeness. So it doesn't say that he don't have a likeness. If you want to if you want to say that he doesn't have a likeness, you would say lamithla lahu, because the la is the emphatic word. He has absolutely no likeness. He has absolutely no likeness. So that is deliberate mishandling of the word of that verse, right?
All right. So you said
So
the
now
correct translation is he has no likeness.
I'm gonna show you again. The correct translation to that verse is there is nothing like his likeness. It's nowhere. It doesn't say in the Arabic there is nothing like him. This is the correct way to say it. There is nothing like his likeness. Mythal means likeness, image, or form. If you want to negate it, then you would say he has absolutely no likeness. La mithla lahu. And this is coming from our brother who has who reads the Arabic and has a master's in Islamic studies.
All right, but
Okay,
that's one person out of
but
how many people who would disagree?
but
The vast
yeah, but
majority.
that's the proper translation, right? But I'm going. Okay, so I'm going to back it up. I'm going to back it up. So, um, which one? Okay, let me see. Okay, so now we still dealing with 42:11, right? Because in that very ayat, it calls Allah a shay. It calls Allah a shay. Do you know what a shay is?
I'm assuming didn't you say earlier, like that physical something? I forget. What
Yeah,
would
no,
you say
that was the
earlier?
shocks. But a shay
Uh,
is different.
mm-hmm.
So in 42:11, Laysa kamithli he shay, right? This is the significance of the words of Muhammad B. Sadoun, better known as Abu Amir al-Qurayshi, the famous Andalusian theologian who died in Baghdad in 1130, who said, the heretics who deny God's anthropomorphism, citing evidence that the Quran verse, nothing is like him, but the meaning of this verse is only that nothing compared to God in his divinity In form, however, God is like you and me. So that comes from Muhammad ibn Sadun, better known as Amir al-Qurayshi, right? So he even said that that's not what that verse means. A shade, this is what a shade means. A shade, you can't say Allah is nothing. A shade is a thing or a being.
Of course, yeah, of course, Allah is a being. Of course, there's no dispute on that.
Look, this is in the Encyclopedia of Islam. Shay has a generally accepted meaning. It designates that which is perceived concretely by the senses and at which a finger could be pointed. So people would accuse us in the nation saying that Allah came in the man in the person of a man. But right here in the Encyclopedia of Islam, it's saying that a shay is a thing that can be pointed.
Definitely. And when it says, when the prophet said that we will see Allah's face in Jannah, I mean, obviously, if you could see something, you'll be able to point at it. But the thing is, I understand that y'all, correct me if I'm wrong, there's no belief in an afterlife in the nation of Islam, correct? Like, y'all think it's like heaven is like a set of a mind, a state of mind, right?
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
with that,
but the thing is that it ain't
Mhm.
that we don't believe in anything after we pass. We just don't know and can prove that it's there. Can you prove anything that's there after you die?
Yeah, with the Quran and the Sunnah,
No, I'm saying based on your experience.
with my personal experience, no.
Have
I haven't observed those
have you
things.
ever seen somebody go to a cemetery and call somebody out of a cemetery?
And what somebody out of something?
That resurrected somebody out of a cemetery. Have you ever seen that?
No,
So okay, so if you haven't seen it and I haven't seen it, then how do we know exactly that's what that means?
because the Quran can be verified to be from God, and the prophecies of the Prophet Muhammad can be observable and verifiable, and like we can verify that he is a true prophet. And his message, his complete message, if nothing has been deemed as incorrect, nothing that is verifiable, that is sahih, that is authentic, has been deemed as incorrect, then who are we to say that, oh, well, everything that we can observe and verify has been correct, but the things that we can't observe and can't verify, even though we can't say that it's incorrect because we can't verify it, we're just going to say it's incorrect anyway, even though everything else that he said has been correct.
Right. And we don't have an issue with that. So the issue is between people who are not Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, their perspectives can probably be incorrect then. Am I wrong or am I
No,
right?
100%, you're right.
Right.
But I wouldn't say that we or a person living in the West who doesn't speak the original language would have the access to as much knowledge as a scholar of Islam from the Arabian Peninsula. So, like, what I'm trying to say is basically they are much more knowledgeable and much more prone to being correct than an American scholar or an American just layman, I guess.
Okay, so you quoted something after earlier to us, right? When you mentioned Timea, when he said that the first three generations would be the best,
Yeah.
right? So after those first three generations, Prophet Muhammad said that they would no longer be of him, correct?
What, what do you mean after those first three generations, they would no longer be of him?
That they will begin to stray in the path of Islam.
Like
They will
people
begin to make
in general, yeah, people in general, yeah, like we would begin to stray, yeah. But that's why, you know, when we talk about those scholars, they follow the Salaf basically. Like Ibn Taymiyyah, um, Bin Baz, many others.
Right. Here's the issue though, and this is the issue that we've identified that many of our Orthodox brothers and sisters haven't identified yet, because you all make issues with the Nation of Islam and what we believe, and say that we don't follow the Sunnah, and charges with we don't follow the Sunnah, but we've found out that you all not, and I'm not taking a personal shot at
No, I
you, but
understand. Yeah.
the community in general isn't following the Sunnah, because there were things that were said of Prophet Muhammad that were changed not by Arabs, that were changed by Persian converts to the religion, right? So when we say that Allah is the man, and he has the form, and you all take issue with us about it, although Prophet Muhammad said the same thing, but it was someone who came into the fold of Islam who completely contradicted Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. So, so, so the belief that God doesn't have a form, he's not a man, he doesn't have a body. Do you know where that um Akaida or that way of thought? Do you know where that came from?
I mean, like, no, I'm trying to read into it more, but then at the same time, too, I feel like that might be a little bit of a straw man, because I agree that Allah has a form, but I agree with it differently. I say that he has a form in a way that befits his majesty, and that just because he has a form, that doesn't necessitate that he has a human body as we know it, or something alike a human body as we know.
Right. Now, we do have some progress. And I give you your respect for that, beloved, because you do believe that Allah has a form. A lot of them don't believe that he has a form. They say astaghfirullah. That's shirk. That's kufr. Right? Now you keep using the term majesty. I mean, it's such a broad statement. I don't even know what that is.
It needs to be broad though, because we can never understand Allah in His fullness. Especially especially we might have in the afterlife, we might have a better way to understand Him. But as long as we're in this life, according to the Sunni tradition, the Prophet Muhammad, he's the end of the messengers until the Prophet Isa returns.
So we'll deal with that in a second, right? But again, right? We say that we don't understand His Majesty and all that. Like, I just met you, right? So just because I don't understand all that you're capable of, don't mean that you're not a person, right?
100%. Yeah.
That don't mean you're not a person. That don't mean that you don't have a physical form. But I want to introduce you to somebody. I want to introduce you to Imam Muhammad Ibn al-Ghazali. Are you familiar with the Imam?
Yeah, and I understand that many people have refuted him as well. I know that they don't really take him as reliable. Al Ghazali.
Okay. So are you one of those people?
For the most part, yeah, because the people who I listen to and who I follow, they are never referencing Al Ghazali. They're more focused on like Ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn Kathir. Yeah.
Okay. So if that's the case, right? Because I'm in agreement with you on that part. Now, if that's the case, then why adopt his ideology on Allah?
I mean, just because a person has said many like things that have been refuted by others, a broken clock could be right twice a day. You know what I mean? Just because I'm in agreement with him on that, that doesn't necessarily mean that I have to be in agreement with the other things that he said. And just because he's been refuted many times, that doesn't mean that um, he's wrong with every single thing that, like every stance that he holds.
Right. But this is where I'm getting at, right? Because, beloved, respectfully, you are contradicting yourself, right? Because on one end of the spectrum, you agree that Allah has a form, right? You believe that He has a form. Now you don't know if it's the form of a man, but you believe that He has a form. But on the other end, you disagree with Al Ghazali, and Al Ghazali believes that Allah does not have a form, right? Ghazali
Okay.
believed that Allah don't have a form or likeness. This is his theology, and this is what people be beating up the nation of Islam about, right? So look at the contradiction. So you believe that he has some type of form. Al Ghazali, you have an issue with Al Ghazali because Al Ghazali don't believe that Allah has a form, but you still take issue with the nation of Islam because we say that Allah came in the person of a man.
I mean, a form doesn't necessarily mean that like he has a human body, though. I feel like that's where our mixed match is. Like when I say form, like, and biggest part of what when I say form, I say right after, in a way that befits His Majesty, and like you don't let me have that, but that's a very important part of when I say form, because when I say in a way that befits His Majesty, we don't understand Allah's Majesty, but that's exactly why I say it. Is because there's some things that are about Allah that we just will not understand, and we may never understand.
Okay. So I'm going to read some stuff for you, and I want to know your thoughts.
Mhm.
1 second. Let me pull it up for you, beloved. Hold on 1 second. Let me get it for you. 1 second. So I thought I had it pulled up already. Matter of fact, it might be in the book. And then we could deal with the messenger stuff and the prophet stuff. Let me pull this up for you. Okay, so now let me ask you this since we're on this topic, because you don't think that it doesn't mean that he's the man. Okay, so my question to you is, beloved. My question to you is, because you keep saying that you think he has a form, but it's not the form of a man. So would you disagree? Okay, I'm gonna put it like this, because y'all have an issue with us saying that Allah came in the form of a man, and y'all say, I think you told Brother Ben that's Kufr, a nation of Kufrs, right? I don't know if you was joking or not, right? Y'all got an issue with that. So what did, if Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah, what is it called when Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah, say that he saw his Lord?
Yeah, we believe that He ascended through the heavens and He's seen Allah's hijab. Um, like
No,
I've been saying,
that's
so
not the report I'm talking about.
which report are you referring to?
Where he says that he saw Allah in his most beautiful form. That one. Are you
I'm not familiar
familiar
with it.
with it?
No, could you give me
I'm
the
going to read it to
citation?
you. Yep,
All
I'm
right.
going to read it to you. Okay. So this is one source. This is several sources that was reported on in the hadith that was considered sahih, right?
Hmm.
Bukhari himself didn't report it, but he spoke on it. But so here's the story. A most interesting exegesis was advanced by Ibn Hanbal according to his son Ahmad. My father reported to me by Abdul Rahman Al Rahman is from some of the companions of the prophet. So it's reported that 13 other companions of the prophet reported this.
Mm-hmm.
It says, and I quote, he came out to them one morning while in a joyous mood and a radiant face. We said to him, O messenger of God, here you are in a joyous mood and a glowing face. The prophet responded, how could I not be? He answered, my Lord came to me last night under the most beautiful form, and he said to me, O Muhammad, and my father Ibn Hanbal reported to us by Abdul al-Razak from Mumar, from Qatada, from the prophet, Allah created Adam according to his form. My father reported to us, Abdul al-Razak and Mamar from Qatada, in the best stature, meaning in the most beautiful form. Um, Ibrahim B. al-Hajjaj reported to us that the Prophet said Allah is beautiful and he loves beauty, but that's one of them. Okay, so in another part, the important 10th century Hadith scholar al-Darakuni, in his Kitab al-Ruya, book concerning the vision of God, reports a hadith on the authority of the companions, Anas ibn Malik. The messenger of God said, I saw my Lord in his most beautiful form, like a young man, a shab. Shab means young man. I saw my Lord in his most beautiful form like a young man with long hair, sitting on the throne of grace. Around him a gold carpet. He put his hand between my shoulders, and I felt its coolness in my liver. He spoke to me, etc. So there were several instances that Prophet Muhammad said that he saw his Lord. And his Lord put his hand between his shoulders. And in some reports, it didn't say he felt the coolness between his liver. It said that he felt the coolness between his nipples. Okay, so why isn't that shirk?
I'm not really versed in hadith or akida, so I don't really have an answer to that. But I mean, I would just have to see the hadith and ask people of hadith what they would say about that.
Okay, I can respect that. Let's see what Bukhari said.
Mhm.
Hold on, yeah, I'm missing that slide. Yeah, I'm not sure what I did with the slide. I gotta find it. Hold on 1 second.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not on here. Yeah, I have the quote from others. I'm just trying to find the one directly from Bukhari though.
All right.
While I look for it, do you have any questions?
Um, essentially, Loki, yeah, like okay, everything else we could continue that, but with Fard Muhammad, essentially, my thing is right. Why do you believe his like claim to revelation? What proofs did he establish?
You said what proof that Master Fard Muhammad established?
Yeah, that he was who he claimed that he was.
Okay, that's a good question. All right. Um, I would say this: studying world religions. I'm not. I won't sit up here and act like I'm the most studied. I'm a scholar. I'm a layman just like you, but I study and I do research. And what I've noticed in multiple faiths, multiple religions, not just only in the East, but also in the West. There is a prophecy of a long-awaited Messiah figure, and a lot of them describe a certain individual. So even Jesus says, "As the lightning shineth from the east, even unto the west, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. And wheresoever he goes, there eagles gather together." That's Jesus in the book of Matthew. So what am I saying? So what I'm saying is that there's this prophecy of a man who will be traveling from the east to the west, just as Jesus said, just as the light is shining from the east to the west, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. So in the Native American folklore, they believe that a figure would be coming from the east. And in several Native American tribes, they gave him different names. According to the Hopi, they called this individual, they gave him two names. The first name is the true white brother. The second name is Pahana. The word Pahana means one who comes from across the ocean or across the sea. According to the the Mayans, they believe in the coming of Quetzalcoatl. This is an individual or a wise man that will be traveling from the east who will come looking like a white man. According to the Inca, they have a prophecy that believes that there will be a wise man coming from the east who would look like a white man, right? Over in the east, they have a coming. The Hindus, they believe of a long-awaited Messiah by the name of Kalki, right? Or Shiva, who a God man who will come looking white, but also he will be a destroyer of many worlds. The Egyptians, they believe that Heru will come, right? According to not Pythagoras, I can't think of the other guy's name right now, but he believed that Heru will come back in the end times looking like a white man. So we believe that Allah who came to us in the person of Master Fard Muhammad is the fulfillment of all these prophecies who traveled 9,000 miles from Arabia to America to resurrect a dead nation of people here in the hills and wilderness of North America. And he will raise up a messenger among us to a people who has never had a messenger before. So when there's issues with the Orthodox community and the Nation of Islam, and they say, well, you all believe that uh, Elijah Muhammad is a prophet. We never said that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is a prophet. In fact, we have audio recordings of him saying that he never told us to call him a prophet. He said that the hypocrites and the disbelievers put that on him, but he never himself considered himself a prophet, right? But did you want to say something?
No, I'm listening. No.
Yeah. So the thing is that now the term prophet and messenger is just gets slapped together, and people say, well, even if he is saying he's a messenger and not a prophet, astaghfirullah. That's kufr. That's shirk. So he can't be neither prophet nor messenger. But we agree with the community when they say that Prophet Muhammad was the last prophet. We don't have no problem with that. If that's what we're gonna go with, we ain't got an issue with that. But the Quran never says that there were an end of messengers. It only said that it was the end of the Nabi, not the Rasul. And the Quran further clarifies that in several instances when it says that Allah is always sends messengers to every people and every nation before he destroys the people. Why? Because a messenger or a prophet is a mercy for those people. So would Allah be a merciful God if he destroys the people before sending them a messenger?
No, but then at the same time, I wouldn't say that he didn't send us a message because our ancestors who came off them boots, when they were on them boots, a lot of them were Muslim and they had that stripped away from them. I'm talking about Orthodox Islam. They were Muslim
But
and
that's
they had that stripped
beautiful.
away from
That's
them.
beautiful that you said that, right? But remember what? Do you remember what they were doing to those Muslims?
What who the slave masters and all that?
Yes,
Um, Making them Christian basically, like forcing them to be.
they were either. But the reason why that they were making them Christian because they were killing them.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely, yeah.
So that's a beautiful analysis that you brought it up. Yes, there were a lot of Muslims that came over here, but they weren't allowed to teach Islam. If you ever see the movie Roots,
Mhm.
right? I think it was a TV show or a movie. It was one of them. But Kuta Kinte was a Muslim, right? Kuta
Mhm.
Kinte was a Muslim, but he wasn't allowed to practice his Islam, and he was basically a closet Muslim. There are episodes where they show scenes of him praying, doing sajda, right? So that was basically an illustration of that we had to tuck our Islam in. They couldn't freely practice their Islam, right? So that would kind of, you made a good point, but that's not the environment that a messenger would be in. A, a messenger, Allah protects his messengers according to the Quran, right or wrong.
Yeah.
He protects them, right?
Well,
So
I wouldn't say because like there have been the children of Israel were able to kill prophets before. And I just want to
true.
respond to this guy, Vincent Foley 336. This is a bonnet. I got locks. I just don't have a retwist. Nowhere in Islam, Nation of Islam, nowhere in any religion does it say that a bonnet is haram. I'm at the crib, like comfortable. Like you keep talking about my bonnet. It's not haram. You need to show proof making like you have no authority to try and make that. Like to call my bonnet haram. What? Because it's pink? Like I don't wear this outside. I don't do that. My fault.
No, you good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But
yeah, no problem.
um, all right. So something interesting that you said about you accept the Prophet Muhammad saying that he is the last prophet, but you don't accept it saying that he's the last messenger, right?
Yes, I don't accept that because I believe, and I'll tell you why. I believe that if that was the case, and Prophet Muhammad was the last prophet and messenger, right? Then that means that it's time for Allah to destroy Satan's world. Therefore, if the man came 1400 years ago and we still living in a wicked world where Satan is prevailing, then there has to be some type of deliverer of the message of Allah's word to get those who are went away from the straight path back on the straight path, right? So when Allah says that he sends messengers to all nations, is not America a nation?
It is, but then my thing there is something that I heard before is that there's not really a need for another messenger after the Prophet Muhammad because the availability of the message now is different than back then. You know, before the Prophet Muhammad, they didn't have like the internet and stuff where they could just research and like hear about the message of God. You know what I mean?
But
But like
but
now, it's
but
much
now
more
let
available.
me respond to that, right? Because that's a good analysis. But coming up from slavery, the black people in America had no access to Islam, had no access to the Quran. And if there were Muslims in America, already in America, there were very small groups of
Hmm.
Muslims. If there were black Muslims, that percentage was even smaller, right? So the Muslims in the East didn't come to America to teach black folks, right? So who would be the deliverer of the message of Islam from Allah? If they not doing it, it has to come from somewhere.
And I would just say that the Prophet Muhammad is still the messenger to this day.
Nobody's denying that. He's a messenger.
I wouldn't say a messenger. I'll say the messenger, like the, and his message is what's valid now, still to this day. And I understand in the comments they keep saying like a messenger from every people speaking their language, but I mean, how do we know that there hasn't previously been a messenger who spoke English? And like just because the Quran is in Arabic, we have translations of the Quran, so it's not that it's inaccessible. It's just we need to, if we really want exegesis, I mean, there's even exegesis of the translations, or I mean, exegesis. There's translations of exegesis available. So the Quran being Arabic, of course, if you want the purest form and purest meaning of it, you would need to study the Arabic for years yourself, because even Arabs, they oftentimes don't speak the modern standard Arabic. They just speak whatever dialect. But even they need to study Arabic as well. But my fault. I keep getting sidetracked because I see all these
Yeah,
comments like
don't
coming from me.
focus on that. I think he apologized to you.
He apologized to the other dude that was coming at me. I think they got in a little disagreement or something. But back to okay. This other comment just reminded me of what we were actually talking about, the messengers to the blacks in America. Still, I don't see why the blacks in America would need a specific messenger to us because we already have the Prophet Muhammad. Even if we lost accessibility to his message for a time being, we didn't lose it permanently. It's available now.
Well, I can respond to that. Is that
Mhm.
okay?
Yeah.
I remember when I was studying world religions, different religions. It is my personal experience.
Hmm.
One of the teachers that I really liked, and he was an Indian, he was a Bengalese, but he wasn't a Hindu,
Hmm.
right? But he taught Kriya Yoga. His name was Paramahansa Yogananda, and he taught Kriya Yoga. He's the person that brought yoga to America, and I took a liking to his teachings, but although he had great teachings, his teachings wasn't for me, wasn't tailored for me specifically. That's why Allah in the Holy Quran, he says that he sends every people or nation a messenger from among themselves that speaks their language and speaks their tongue. Prophet Muhammad did not speak English.
100%.
Moses did not speak English. Jesus did not speak English. So Allah is not a liar, and he does not contradict himself, right? So yes, we would agree that okay, he's the last prophet. Why? Because there's nothing else to prophesy. But that doesn't mean that Allah does not cannot send us another messenger, right? So when we speak, we only dealing with the Quran. When you go to uh, Surah 44, ayats 1 through 5, this is what the Quran say. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, but beneficent God, by the book that makes manifest, we revealed to it on a blessed night. Truly, we are ever warning. Why? Because the messenger is a warner. Truly, we are ever warning. Therein is made clear every affair full of wisdom. A command from us. Truly, we are ever sending messengers. Truly, we are ever sending messengers.
All right, you said 44, 1 through 5.
Yes.
All right. Let me see
So,
what my translation says. Is that the Muhammad Ali translation?
yep.
Yeah. I would be hesitant to accept that translation because I know that Muhammad Ali is an Ahmadi and he believes in Mirza Ghulam Ahmed as a prophet of Allah after, or like reincarnation of Isa or whatever. I don't know like the specifics, but I just understand it's something like that along those like vague lines basically. So I'll be hesitant to take his translation
But why
because
not be hesitant to take other people's translations as well? So you think that Muhammad, uh, I'm sorry, Maulana Muhammad Ali would be the only one that will make mischief with the words of Allah?
definitely not. But this one that I have right here, this is an Oxford University Press.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an academic one.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, I don't only have this one either. I got a couple. But like ideally, I would continue to study the Arabic and then just read the
Well,
Arabic.
but read the one that you do have.
All right, 1 through 5, right?
Yep.
All right, so Hamim. By the scripture that makes things clear, truly we sent it down on a blessed night. We have always sent warnings, a night when every decisive command was made distinct as a command from us. We have always sent messages. It says we have always sent messages. So there's a difference there. And that like
Is no difference
I would say it's a difference
because the
because what
messenger
you
sends
read,
messages.
yeah, but what you read it says we are ever sending
So
messages,
you
which would
want me to
imply
read
that
the
it's
footnotes?
yeah,
We can read the footnotes.
okay. But I'm saying verse 5 on your translation says we are ever sending, which would imply that it's a current act. And this one says we have always sent
Yeah,
messages, which would
because
imply that it's a
think
past.
about it. There are people there are people around the world who never even heard of the name Allah. You think the Most High is not sending nobody for them?
I mean, with this ease of the age of like access to information that we're in, I wouldn't assume that there would really, and this is just my
Come
assumption,
on,
so it may
beloved.
be correct or incorrect. I wouldn't assume that Allah would need to send a messenger to every single person who's still ignorant of Islam in this current day and age, because the access is easy and available now.
Come on,
As well,
beloved.
I would also say, that, I forget if it's in the hadith. Yeah, it's definitely in the hadith. I just don't know the citation. But that the person who is like, who doesn't know about Islam, not a disbeliever or an idolater, but just the person who doesn't know, they will receive their own tests on that day of judgment. So Allah is not going to punish somebody who never even had a foot in the door or a chance at all. Like they will receive their own test on the day of judgment.
Okay, so now you you said that you don't believe that Allah does not punish people who don't know better, right?
In some matters, there's no excuse for jahiliyyah, like the ignorance. In some matters, I remember hearing that from a sheikh. But when I'm saying like he won't punish somebody if they never knew about Islam and like they wouldn't what's it called? If they just never learned about Islam, never had a chance to follow Islam or anything like that, then they would not be punished as the same as a disbeliever of Islam. They would be given their own test.
Okay, I mean I'm not mad at that, but whenever a people goes astray before Allah destroy them, all the way from the Bible through the Quran, Allah's always shown and proven that He sends them, He raises up a prophet or a messenger among them. That's been consistent through every book.
Mhm.
That's been consistent through every book,
Yeah, but he
right?
said
So,
he'll send them a messenger though, and then they'll be destroyed after the messenger
okay,
if they
so I'm looking
choose to
at,
disbelieve.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just said if they choose to if they choose to continue to disbelieve, then they'll be destroyed.
Okay, so I'm looking at a Islamic study. I'm looking at different translations.
Hmm.
I'm looking at IslamicStudies.info, and I'm reading. This is not a Maulana Muhammad Ali,
Hmm.
and it's saying right here. I don't know if y'all can see it.
It's
44
mirrored.
5.
Hmm.
Can you
It's
read it?
it's mirrored. Like it's backwards for us.
Can you see it?
By our command, verily, we were set to send a messenger. Hmm.
That's another one, and that's not Muhammad Ali. That's from the IslamicStudies.info. Let me see if I
Okay.
can.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find another one. Because I mean, when you have when people have their biases, right?
Hmm.
We have the cognitive dissonance, and we want to disregard what people say based on our bias. Here's another one. This is from Quran.com.
Hmm.
This is from Quran.com. This ain't Maulana Muhammad Ali. Can you read it?
Yeah. By a command from us, we have always sent messengers. That's basically like I feel like you might not understand what I'm saying. The Maulana Muhammad Ali translation says that we are sending, but all of these translations said we have sent or we are set to send.
Yeah,
So
but that don't mean that there can't be a messenger sent in the future. All
of,
this is prophecy.
of course
See if you see
that
if
wouldn't
you
mean.
but if you looking at but if I'm saying but if you looking at this book as just historical, then how can we qualify Prophet Muhammad as being a prophet? Then what did he prophesy then?
Mm,
See, and that's the problem. We
what?
thinking this is just historical.
Yeah,
This is
but the prophecies of the Prophet Muhammad come not only in the Quran. There's a couple in the Quran, such as the Roman and the Persian War, but they more come in the Hadith of the Prophet.
okay. But okay, so you said the prophecies come in a hadith for the prophet.
Yeah,
Okay. So did Prophet Muhammad write the hadith?
no, they were observed by his companions.
Okay. So how can we take the hadiths as prophecy and not the Quran?
No, we can take the Quran as prophecies. There are prophecies within the Quran, but the Quran's not meant to just be a single prophecy.
Right. But like somebody said in the comments, the hadith isn't more valid than the Quran.
I feel like that's a straw man fallacy because I never said that and I never implied that. What I'm
But
saying is there are there are prophecies in within the Quran, but more of the prophecies from the Prophet Muhammad come in the Hadith. Knowing the Hadith, more there are more prophecies present in the Hadith, prophecies that have passed and come true. But of course, the Quran is more valid than the Hadith, but not at all am I saying that the Hadith is more valid at all.
okay, so I'm looking in multiple different Qurans online.
Mhm. There's a website called English Quran where you can search up a chapter and a verse and it'll give you all of the English translations side by side with each other.
Right. Yeah. So, but here's the thing. So, it can be subjective. People want to take it as, you know, it's not sending a messenger. It is sending messengers. Um, but I think that I'm gonna side on the side that where Allah says that He's ever sending messengers because He never said that He put a seal on the messengers. He only put a seal on the prophets. There's another part in the Quran where Allah is, let me see if I can find it, where He's talking about making a covenant with the prophets with a messenger.
Hmm.
And that
Okay.
messenger isn't talking about Prophet Muhammad.
Okay.
So
You have to show
again,
me that.
so what I'm saying is, how can we say that Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, be the last prophets and the last messengers if Allah is making a covenant with the prophets and he's using one of the messengers to verify the prophecies? It's in the Quran.
Could you repeat that?
Allah is making a covenant with the prophets, but he said he's sending a messenger to verify what is with the prophets.
No, I would say he's definitely talking about the Prophet Muhammad. And he's when he says to verify, he's talking about the past revelations. He's verifying
But
news
why didn't you just say? Well, why didn't you just say he was sending the prophet to verify with the prophets? Why does he make the distinction that a messenger would be verifying what the prophets did if he
because
himself is a
all
prophet?
prophets all prophets are still messengers though. So that's it, like he
I,
might.
I
It's
hear
not
that a lot,
necessarily a distinction.
but I hear that a
Yeah,
lot. Where's that in the Quran?
that all prophets are messengers.
Yeah.
I mean, it might not be in the
Okay.
Quran. I don't know
So why are we dealing with stuff that ain't in the book?
because it's in the Hadith, and the Hadith that are authentic, that are traced back to the Prophet Muhammad. Like, why would we just deny those?
Yeah.
Because like you can't.
Because here's the thing, the hadiths are beautiful. But the hadith is not the Quran, one. Two, the hadiths are subject to error. Even if they have been deemed sahih, there are some still deemed to be in error. When you have hadiths that say that Prophet Muhammad slept with a 6-year-old child, there's a problem. It's an issue with that, right? And I can't get with that, right? But we have proof that Prophet Muhammad did not sleep with Aisha and marry Aisha when she was 6 and 9 years old. So that's why I'm kind of giving you some game, bro. That yes, the hadiths are beautiful, but they are subject to error. So we repeating what people say. Well, all prophets is messengers, but not all all messengers are prophets, but not all prophets are messengers, or however they say it. If that ain't come from Allah, then where does that come from?
I mean, I can't really respond to that because you're discounting the Hadith. And if the prophet is a true prophet, he's not going to misspeak when it comes to the Aqidah and when it comes to the correct belief. He would never misinform or misteach. He's not there he wouldn't make mistakes on that.
So let me ask you this, beloved. So in the Quran, in this book right here, who words are in this book? Is it Prophet Muhammad's or Allah's words?
Allah's words revealed through the Prophet Muhammad, revealed through the angel Gabriel.
Okay. So you agree that these words come from Allah.
The Arabic form, yes, and only the Arabic comes
So
from Allah.
when we deal with hadith, who words are those?
The Prophet Muhammad's words, according to the Sahaba.
According to,
Mhm.
see, it's like playing a game of telephone.
But you can, not necessarily because of the chain of Isnad.
No,
The
no,
Isnad
but it is
chain.
like playing a game of telephone because the prophet could transmit a message, right? And he transmitted many messages, but not all those messages that were transmitted directly from him was transmitted to the people the exact same way.
But I would beg to differ because when you have multiple, like many multiple sources who perhaps didn't know each other, but they all heard the same thing from the prophet, and then they relate it with very similar wording, if not the same exact wording, then I would say that it's reliable to believe. It's reliable enough to believe that that's what the prophet
So
said.
let me ask you this then, and this is going to tell me who you are right here. Do you believe that Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, married a 6-year-old and laid down with her when she was 9?
I don't know because I know that there's debate
No, no, no.
between
I
that.
want to know your opinion.
I don't know. Like I really don't know because I'm like, of course, in this modern day and age and this culture that we're in, of course, when I hear that, like it's it's hard to accept, right? Like, of course, because why wouldn't that? Why would somebody just view that as normal today? But then when I think about it, and I think about 1,000 years ago in a warring society, it's not too unbelievable for me to think that okay, maybe they accepted that once a woman reaches like puberty, the age of puberty, that they might just be like, all right, well, we need to procreate, and that's what we're focused on. But like at the same time, it is uneasy. But things in the religion, not everything you're going to like really, you know, you're not really going to see
But
a
do
hundred
do
percent and
you
understand.
accept that though? As Sahih.
If it's Sahih, I would have to see the chain and I would have to talk to the Hadith, the people of Hadith, and I would see what they.
Because a lot of them say it's Sahih. So if it's Sahih, you accept it?
If it's Sahih, and if I speak to the people of Hadith and they say like, yes, this is accepted as what really like the events that took place, then yeah, I would accept it. I would have to.
See, now that's where we differ, right?
Why?
Because these people, a lot of them got a lot of y'all fooled, right? So we only rely on the words that come from Allah. And Allah is showing you in the Quran that none of his prophets and messengers are unrighteous men.
Hmm.
What he does is he clears Abraham's name. He clears David's name. He clears Jesus' name. Moses, he clears them from all unrighteous doings. But here we have men who who are playing with the prophet's name, making him look like an unrighteous man, although the Quran specifically tells us that we can't marry women that are not at the mature age to where they can make their own decisions and do what they
Yeah,
want
physical and
to
mental
do.
maturity. Physical and mental
We can't
maturity.
marry
Yeah.
them if they're not at a maritable age, and that's the age of maturity,
There's no.
right? A
It
little
doesn't
girl, 6 year
specify
old.
that though. It doesn't specify a maritable age, and it
Yes,
does
it
not
does.
give a specific age.
Yes, it
It
does.
it
The
doesn't give a
Quran.
specific age.
I can pull up. I can. Oh, I don't have time today because I got to get ready to go. But the Quran specifically say these things, and we have documentation proving that those that not only say that this is hadith, we have found the origin on where this supposed hadith came from, and it was a weak link. But you have people in the community saying that it's Sahih. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm.
So this is what I'm trying to get you to understand, beloved, because you are a young, you black, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, you a young black man in America, and what I'm trying to get you to understand, beloved, is that the Muslim world has locked out a lot of people out of a lot of the classical Islamic writings. They didn't want us to really delve into a lot of the Islamic classical information. We have a scholar who tapped in and got past the gatekeepers, because there are gatekeepers in Islam, who was holding a lot of this information hostage. And this brother has gone past the gatekeepers and found out the actual truth. And he's able, like I said, to read not just modern Arabic, but he's able to read the classical Arabic. He can read the classical Arabic. So he's exposing the gatekeepers. So when we just want to believe everything and take their words for face value, I'm warning you, beloved, that you just can't take everything that they say for face value. Because you're gonna end up and you're gonna be on the wrong side of history, and you're gonna be looking crazy in front of people saying, "Oh, well, if it's Sahih, then yeah, it's okay for my prophet to sleep with underage girls."
But that's my thing though, right? All right, we saying underage now. Of course it's underage now. It would be wrong now. But as we know, like worldwide in ancient times, the morals and the ethics were
But it's
different. The morals and
underage back
ethics.
then. If she ain't a 6 year old ain't even hit puberty yet. She ain't even had her first period.
But it was common for the Arab, just because he married her, that doesn't mean that he was having sex with her off rip. And it was common for the Arabs to even marry off their daughters or their young before they were even born, like as a what's it called, like a contractual marriage, basically. And then like the diet was different, the climate was different, all things were different. So the bodily like progression could have been it very could have been different.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying, right? But at the end of the day, the Quran don't justify that. And at the end of the day, point number two, that was 1.2, we found the actual source of where that story came from. That
Could
story
you
was,
DM that to me?
yeah, I'm okay, I'll DM it to you. Yeah, the story was a propaganda piece because you had the followers of Aisha versus the followers of Ali. And one of the people that were against Aisha created that story because to basically say that back in those times it was a sense of honor that the younger you were in the household of the prophet, the more honor that you and respect that you got. So they was trying to say, well, Aisha, she had been in the prophet's house since she was 6 years old, right? So
Mm.
therefore, she basically, she is more authentic or she's more verified than everybody else. So I'm going to DM you that information so you can read it for yourself that it has been completely debunked. And I would say you from to this day on, be careful with that because I see a lot of Muslim brothers and sisters get into debates with Hebrew Israelites, get into debates with Christians, and they can't even defend that. And they actually look crazy saying that it's okay that Prophet Muhammad was sleeping with an underage child.
I wouldn't say that they would look crazy because in their own
They do
books,
look crazy.
like
I've
I
seen
would
it.
say, I mean, of course, now as a person who like don't what's it called, don't accept that, and you're trying to put like use presentism and like today to look back on that. But with regard to those two groups, a Christian who would try and bring that argument or a Hebrew Israelite who would try and bring that argument when they both use the Bible and they both accept that Moses was a prophet and they both accept that Moses in the book of Numbers took those virgin girls, they would have no legs to stand on.
You said
Because
Moses took virgin girls.
yeah, in the book of Numbers, when Moses commanded his army to take virgin girls, every girl who has not yet known a man. And then the scholars say that all of those girls could have been from the ages of like 10 to 13. That's like the medium age. And then medium literally means like you take like all the ages, the smallest and the youngest and the oldest, and then you add them up and divide them by the amount. So like 10 to 13, that's the medium. That's not the least age.
Yeah, but here's the thing with this is what you can't do though. You can't try to compare that to Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, especially if it's coming out of the Bible. When you earlier said the Bible has been tampered with, so therefore, if
100%.
it's been tampered with, we have to look carefully into that to see if that's what it actually really say.
Yeah, but I'm saying as a Christian or a Hebrew Israelite who would try and use that argument to stand on something against a Muslim, they don't have any leg to stand on, regardless of if we accept it, because
Hmm.
they accept it. So I'm just
Hmm.
saying they accept that as something that doesn't denounce his prophethood or anything like that. So essentially, it would be hypocrisy on their end.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I see, but you got a counter argument to their argument, but still, we still got to say lie. We still can't, despite if we got a counter argument, we still can't accept it on our side or their side. Um, But yeah, so we've been on, bro, for probably about 2 hours now.
Yeah, it was a
I
good
would
little
say it's a
joint.
good conversation, man. And brother, I like you. You are a very good brother, man. I appreciate you. Very mature. How old are you, bro?
I'm 20. I just turned
Bro,
20.
you
Yeah.
20? Oh, praise, man. You young enough to be my son, brother.
Yeah.
Wow. Praise be to Allah, man. Hey, well,
Okay.
it's like I said, man, it's wonderful talking to you. And I would like to stay in touch with you
All right.
if you can. I don't know if you can inbox me or I can try to inbox you. I can send you that source that I mentioned earlier
Yeah.
about Aisha. And I do plan on coming back having some more of this discussion. If you'd be willing to join me, and we can probably get others up here. That'd be good. I didn't just want to just make it like a Q&A type thing and
Hmm.
say what I need to say and just move you down, bringing people up. I just felt that I just give you the floor, and let you represent, man. And I think you did a very good job. Is there anything that you like to say
Yeah.
before we go?
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate the respect. All that, it was a good discussion. We wasn't like trying to talk over each other or nothing like that. Emotions was in check. It was a good discussion. I look forward to having some more with you.
May I get your name again?
Taufik.
Tawfiq.
Yeah, yeah,
All praises
yeah.
due to Allah. What does Tawfiq mean?
Success in Arabic.
Success. All
Yeah,
praises due to Allah. I love that. I
I
love that.
appreciate
How long have
it.
you been a Muslim?
I was born into it, but I started looking into it deeper, maybe like honestly like a year and a half ago.
Hmm.
Yeah, during that Ramadan. That's when I really decided to like I was always a Muslim by like name, but now I practice and I read about it
Your
more.
parents were Muslims?
Just my father. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You stay with him?
No, I stay with my mom.
Okay.
Yeah,
Praise be to Allah. Well, man, it is a pleasure to meet you, Brother Tawfiq.
good to meet you as
Again, your
well.
brother, my name is Brother Malcolm. Um, I've been around for a little bit, man, and I think it's an honor that you came up, had a good civil conversation with your brother. And inshallah, we can have many more and we can grow together as brothers, man. One thing about us in the nation, we come to the masjid and worship with the brothers who are not in the nation. We do Ramadan with the brothers, the Orthodox community, the Sunni community. We believe in the five pillars of Islam. We believe in the articles of faith. Whether you believe it's 6 or 7, we believe in it. We may see it from different perspectives, but at the end of the day, we all family. When people enter the fold of Islam, we say Allahu Akbar. All praises are due to Allah. Whether they join the Nation of Islam or whether they join the Sunnis, Shia, it don't matter to us. We look at you all as family. We love you all, and we just we hope that we can do anything within the community that can be of service of our community and be a contribution to our community and not hurt or damage our community.
Mm, definitely, definitely, definitely. I get behind that
All
for
right,
sure.
Tawfiq. Nice to meet you, beloved. You have a
All right, nice
beautiful
to meet you
day.
as well. You
All
too.
right.
I look forward to some more with you.
Yes, sir. Assalamu
Yeah,
alaikum.
like,